stock market is now down 21%.
Down 43%.
What caused the largest financial crisis in history? This crisis destroyed even the biggest investors and banks. Was the crisis predictable? Let's explore what led to it. It began quietly with cheap loans and a dream of home ownership. By the mid-2000s, banks were giving mortgages to almost anyone. People who couldn't afford homes were told they could. After all, housing prices always went up until they didn't. On Wall Street, investment banks were turning these risky mortgages into complex financial products called mortgage-backed securities and collateralized debt obligations, CDOs. They bundled thousands of home loans together and sold them as safe investments. The more they sold, the more money they made. Credit rating agencies' trusted gatekeepers stamped many of these bundles with AAA ratings, the same grade as U.S. government bonds. Investors around the world believed they were buying low-risk assets. In reality, these were ticking time bombs. As the housing bubble grew, lenders lowered their standards even further. Subprime, borrowers those least likely to repay, were approved in droves. Adjustable rate mortgages started cheap, then skyrocketed. When rates reset, millions couldn't pay. By 2007, cracks began to show. Home prices stopped rising. Borrowers defaulted. The once safe mortgage bonds started losing value fast. Wall Street panicked. Major financial institutions had bet billions on the assumption that the housing market could never collapse. Lehman Brothers, one of the oldest investment banks, held massive positions in these toxic assets. In September 2008, it went bankrupt, the largest in U.S. history. Fear spread through the global financial system. Banks stopped trusting each other. Credit froze. Even healthy companies couldn't borrow to fund daily operations. The economy began to grind to a halt. To prevent total collapse, the U.S. government and the Federal Reserve launched emergency actions, cutting interest rates, bailing out major institutions like AIG, and injecting hundreds of billions into the banking system through the TARP program, the Troubled Asset Relief Program. But the damage was already done. Millions lost their homes, their savings, their jobs. The crisis rippled across the globe, plunging countries into deep recession. In the aftermath, policymakers faced tough questions. How could so many smart people miss the warning signs? Why were banks allowed to gamble with other people's money? And how could an entire system built on trust unravel so fast? Reforms followed, including the Dodd-Frank Act aimed at increasing oversight and preventing future meltdowns. Yet, critics argue that the same forces of greed, complexity, and short-term profit still linger. The 2008 financial crisis wasn't caused by one bad decision or one greedy banker. It was the product of an entire culture, a system where risk was ignored, profits were worshipped, and everyone believed the good times would last forever. And when the bubble finally burst, it revealed a simple truth. In finance, what goes up can always come crashing down.